Classical dream interpretation relies on a library of static mappings. A specific object, like a key or a locked door, corresponds to a single, fixed psychological meaning. This noun-based approach formed the bedrock of early psychoanalysis, treating dream images as a code to be decrypted. Analytical psychology expanded this framework, yet the core assumption remained. Dream symbols possess stable, enduring identities. Observation reveals a different reality. In a dream, a familiar house can dissolve into a liquid sea, or a character's identity can shift mid-sentence. When a symbol transforms this rapidly, a static dictionary loses the ability to track the actual cognitive experience. Relying on fixed nouns to explain a fluid, time-evolving process misrepresents the biological reality of the dreaming brain. The Brain Kinematics Model, or BKM, provides a computational alternative to the symbolic dictionary. The model treats dreams as time-evolving strain trajectories rather than collections of objects. These trajectories serve a biological function. They reorganize unresolved emotional gradients and tensions lingering from waking life. Transitioning from the study of objects to the study of vectors allows us to see how a dream actually processes information. Our goal is to derive the equation that converts these chaotic visual shifts into computable strain events. To decode the narrative, we must analyze the interaction between the image and the continuous emotional field it moves through. We begin by deconstructing dream imagery into its processing components, starting with the variable f, form. Neurologically, a form represents a rapid, localized collapse of emotional strain. The brain processes these patterns along the ventral visual stream in tens of milliseconds. This pathway delivers a compact package of emotional data almost instantly because it requires very little boundary integration. We define the second variable, s, as space. In the BKM, space functions as a relational coordinate system processed via the dorsal stream and the medial temporal system. Constructing a space takes longer than identifying a form. The brain must perform sequential boundary detection and relational mapping within the hippocampus to create an environment. Space provides the addressing system, linking individual forms together into a coherent emotional topology. These elements are unified by a third variable, m, for motion. Motion defines the flow of strain, or the direction in which a form transforms within its space. Form provides the density, space provides the field, and motion tracks the evolution. These visual components are driven by the emotional load, the variable E. We divide this load into two layers. The first is E-core, a stable attractor tied to the primary unresolved strain from the dreamer's waking life. E-core is anchored in deep brain structures, including the amygdala and the hippocampus. This core layer provides the dream's underlying emotional stability. The second layer is delta E subsidiary. This represents the erratic fluctuations and surface-level feelings generated by the images themselves. These fluctuations appear as rapid spikes overlaying the stable core pulse. These subsidiary shifts occur because the prefrontal cortex is less active during sleep, reducing the brain's ability to regulate emotional responses to changing imagery. The volatile emotions in a dream are the result of these subsidiary fluctuations riding on top of the stable waking strain. We must also identify the mechanism that determines whether the dreaming mind focuses on a specific form or the broader space. The BKM defines this as the vertical mind zoom, mathematically expressed as z of t. In zoom-in mode, where z approaches 1, attention collapses onto a single form. This focus intensifies localized strain and amplifies the subsidiary emotional variations tied to that object. As the z value drops toward 0, we enter zoom-out mode. The wider spatial context becomes the dominant experience, making the stable core emotional field more visible while individual objects recede. Rapid, unstable oscillations in this zoom variable create the fragmented narratives and shifting identities common in surreal dreams. We can now integrate these derived variables into a single unit of analysis. This is the strain event vector, U sub I, which synthesizes form, space, motion, emotion, and zoom. This equation allows us to quantify a single moment of dream cognition. By sequencing these vectors over time, we can map the entire trajectory of a dream narrative. This framework replaces the symbolic grammar of the past with a dynamic, event-based grammar focused on how psychological strain transforms. To see this application, consider a dream involving an insect crawling across a bedroom. Instead of looking for a symbolic meaning for the insect, we process the imagery through the BKM variables. The space, the room, functions as an encoded relational boundary representing a private resting field. The insect serves as the form, a localized strain unit, while its crawling defines the motion vector. The interaction of these variables creates a specific dynamic event. This event is an active intrusion into a comfort system. The result is a redistribution of energy, where the stable core strain triggers a subsidiary spike of discomfort as the boundary is breached. Meaning in the Brain Kinematics Model is not a property of static objects. It is an emergence of the multidimensional interaction between form, space, and motion over time.